Good morning, fantasy football fans. How have been your week been? I've missed FPL. I've missed doing this. I decided not to do it last week because everybody's mind was out of the country, out of the FPL into their countries' qualifiers. You have seen some shocks. You have also seen some recoveries. I'm talking about England. But then again, we are not all England fans, so allow me not to go much into that and go into the business of the day. So my name is Sam, and I'm welcoming you to the FPL show. We are doing a preview for Game Week 9, then looking at how our performance was in the previous Game Week. This week we are going to do only one recording. We are not going to separate the two like we have done previously. And I'm hoping that we are all going to have a good time together. So join me. Before I start, ensure that you click on the subscribe button and you like the recording, and also share with friends so that we can help one another and have a cordial discussion. So as we get started for Game Week 8, it's funny that even after taking an 8 points hit, because I thought that I had to do that, I realized that I still had a green R, and that is to mean that my transfers did not do that bad. It might also mean that the community is still struggling. 8 games on, people are still not getting the points that we expected them to get, because by now we are expecting teams have settled. We have known that the players to go for, the premium players to go for, where the points lie. But when you look at the performance, you start to wonder what this season has in store for us. So join me. As you can see in my team, I had 50 points. Take 8 points away because I took in Tomori from Chelsea. He blanked. I also bought Aubameyang, who blanked for the first time. No surprise. And then to fund Aubameyang, of course, now I had to go for a less premium player, that is Saka. So that's why I had to do 3 transfers. So that said, it's not all doom and gloom. My team is still taking shape. I might have to do 2 more transfers for me to get the team that I'm looking for. But I'm hoping that going forward, I'm going to have a good time. So I had 50 points. Actually, I only had 5 players who I can sing about, and that is Ryan. Ryan, for some reason, 3 weeks ago, I almost took him out because I looked at his fixtures and I compared to somebody like Pope or even Man City. And I thought that I was riding on the wrong ship, but thank goodness I didn't, because he has bagged me for the last couple of weeks. He has bagged me good points compared to the other keepers. Funny enough, even my second choice keeper, who is a 4.0 keeper from Norwich, he's still even getting good points together with Ryan. But I told myself from the start of the season that I'm going to go with one keeper. I'm not going to rotate my keepers, and I'm seeing the results. So that has been good. Mane is still at shining Salah. Hence the reason why I moved out of that shift early enough. I'm expecting him to drop some points, some of his price, because most people will be moving him out this week, especially considering the game that he has this week and next week. I'm expecting a price drop from Salah, but at least my money is safe with Mane. Keep in mind that in 2 or 3 game weeks, or maybe from game week 13, there's a fixture shift for Liverpool, and don't be surprised people doubling in on Mane and Salah instead of having Sterling and De Bruyne. So watch out for that. So again, Mount has not disappointed. And whenever Mount is on the score sheet or has good points, then Abraham follows suit. And that's why doubling up on Chelsea is also not a bad thing. So I can't say much about Pookie. The Pookie party to me ran out. I will be talking about my transfers, but I don't think that I'm going to have him past this week. Those people who feel like they'll stick with him because of his exploits for the national team, go on. I'll not stop you. But I felt, to me, it's time to ditch him. So 50 points, that's 42 overall. Green arrows everywhere. It's not much about how good I'm doing, but it's how bad the community is doing. That is where my concern lies. So let me compare two of my rivals. Again, I'm always comparing Elias and Hassan. To me, those are my yardsticks. And when I'm having a bad day, I look at their teams and see where I am. Then it tells me whether I need to change or I need to grow on for my team. So looking at the poorest performer this week, again, the Mulambe's team, or Elias team, he also took a hit of 8 points like me. And in total he had 39. Meaning that his total points was 31. Again, I look at his team and I wonder where the points are running away from, because he has a very good team. And he's one of the vindication I have about not rotating your keepers, because he has Pope and he has Adrian. And one deciding when to play one and when not to play the other is where the problem is arising. And I don't want to put myself in such a pressure, because you can see, like this game week, Adrian blanked, Pope had 7 points, but he was in his bench. Again, he has very good points on the bench from Douglas, Luiz, and Landstram. Landstram, I don't know whether we are going to play Landstram this week, considering that he's playing Arsenal. So do you play him or do you play the other players? But anyway, in terms of the game week 8, that is 31 points for Elias. Red arrows everywhere. That's because he didn't reach even the average scores. So he's at 3.3 million in terms of the overall score. His team, I don't see the problem. He went with Mahrez instead of De Bruyne. De Bruyne was not, remember De Bruyne was injured and maybe he thought he would jump ship. I cannot say that it was a bad move, but then it didn't reap much fruit for that. The other team is for Hassan. Hassan also took an 8-point seat. What's up with taking this point seat? Are people avoiding using the wild card or what? Because he also took the points hit. He scored a total of 57. That means minus the 8 points, he gets 49, which is not a bad score. And you can see he had green arrows everywhere. In our country, he's number 438. That is the territory that I have always put myself in, and I'm so far off. Overall, he is 72,000. So maybe he's the one who's supposed to be doing this recording, not me, because for some reason everything he's touching is turning to gold. He played Kelly and Landstram, who every one of us had benched. I don't know whether he played them or they came on. I think they came on, but that is subject to some confirmation. He also had Son, who I had been thinking about, but I opted out, and thank God I opted out, because Spurs have been atrocious. And if you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is on the chopping board, then watch out for Pochettino, because I don't think he'll survive this. If he cannot get that dressing room in order, and that is even affecting us in the FPL, the owners of Son and Kane, they will tell you that Every week they are having to make a hard decision whether to play them on or to move them out. So anyway, that was his point. I would say, comparing his team and mine, the points that he got from defense is the only difference. Otherwise, I'm still after him. And congrats to him. This is his first full season that he's starting. And the FPL is giving him a good welcome. So who am I to say the opposite? So looking at my team and looking at my performance so far, I'm comparing game week 7 and game week 8. You can say that I had a small rise, because that is 10,000. I believe that's around almost 100,000 increase in rank. And I hope I can continue growing my team so that I can get myself at least in the top 100. I would feel that then I'll be more competitive than what I've been doing so far. So the going up and down in my rank, to me is a concern, as I said before, because I really wanted to be competing by now, and I'm still struggling. So I don't know what else to do, but that's why I have you on board. As we continue, remember to subscribe. Remember to make this available for our friends so that we can increase our reach. So in our country, I'm number 4,000. That's far off. But as you can see, that most of the teams are clogged into some similar score. So immediately you get a green arrow, you shoot up. And maybe it's now time to start thinking whether we should be taking these points hits. Even if they have helped us, maybe if you have a team that you can stick with, just stick with that, because I'm believing that's the only way that you are going to grow. That's the only different thing that we need to do. So game week 9 is here with us finally, after 2 weeks, after a break. And thank God we needed that break. Personally, the roller coaster that Manchester United is putting us to, that break was called for. And looking at game week 9, we have very interesting fixtures. Interesting because even as it stands, the whole community is split on who to captain. I love that, because it means that we are going to have a very split performance. No one player stands out. And when you go through the teams, you realize so. So I'm going to give a brief prediction on how the games will go. Basically, that's how I do it, to know whether my team is geared up for the week or not. For example, you look at Everton versus West Ham. Everton have been shipping in goals. West Ham have been doing the same. So I wouldn't be surprised by Everton winning 2-1. Aston Villa versus Brighton. Brighton is very compact away from home. Aston Villa is rising, but I can give them a 1-0 win or even a 1-1 draw. Bournemouth versus Norwich. This is a goal fest. I don't expect anything less, and I am not placing my money on Pukki, even when he did that well in the national team. But I'm looking forward to seeing how good Wilson will be. At home, he's a beast. And maybe he's a candidate for captaincy, as we'll go and find out. Chelsea versus Newcastle. On paper, this is a very good game for Chelsea, considering how well they have been doing. However, Newcastle have been a thorn in the flesh for Chelsea for quite some time. And that is my major concern when it comes to captaining Abraham. I hope you remember the Cisse goal, the 2-1 win they won away from home, that is Newcastle, some time back. And over time, they have been a thorn in the flesh for Chelsea. So watch out for that game. Don't think it's a strong throw, but I still think that they can maybe nick in a 2-0 win. Leicester versus Burnley. Their eyes say it will be a 0-0 because the Morrison and the Vardy owners will skin me alive. Do I go with a 1-0 win or 2-1? But it will not be that straightforward. Spurs versus Watford. this is one of the games of the week, especially because it's more, if Tottenham can have taken advantage of the 2 weeks break, then they'll ace this. And Watford have been shipping in goals. Remember, they shipped in, I think, was it 5 or 6 against City? So I expect Son and Kane owners to maybe, if you are the person who goes with differentials, this is where you get your captain. So 3-0 win for Spurs. Wolves versus Southampton. Wolves, after beating Man City, I expect them to up their game, especially knowing that they didn't have the European Europa League distraction. So I expect them to win around 2-0. Crystal Palace versus Man City, a very tricky fixture. 3-1 Man City. I don't know whether Aguero will play. I hope we have all heard about his minor accident. And this has given Pep a chance to bench him again, which I know he loves doing. So I don't know whether now Sterling, this is where Sterling comes in. But the problem is that, and I don't know whether we saw this because I captured it. Pep was screaming that Sterling goes out more wide during the last game that they lost to Wolves. And that means that Sterling, the way we considered him more of a striker, looking at last season, how they performed. This time around, I don't know why Pep feels that he should not be bombing forward like he used to do. But then again, I expect a Man City win. And Sterling will be in among the goals. Manchester United versus Liverpool. Oh my God. Do we have to watch this match? My heart says it will be a 0-0 scoreline. My mind says that Liverpool will win it 3-1 or even 3-0 because I don't know where the goals will come from. Maybe we might get a penalty. And maybe Rashford will get another chance to disappoint us. I don't know. Do I go with my heart? Do I go with my mind? You be the you choose. Maybe you can put it on the comments, the scoreline that you think will be there. But talking about Liverpool, talking about Salah and Mane, for some reason I think Salah is a changed man. And I still think that the criticism he got about being selfish really affected him. As a Mane owner, I love that. But as a lover of the game, and considering how much I know Salah can do, I just hope that he can get through this and he can start bringing in the goals. I love watching that guy play. So the last game will be on Monday. That is Sheffield versus Arsenal, a very tricky fixture. And if my memory serves me right, the last time Arsenal went to Sheffield United, they lost. I think, was it 2-0? But then the way they are playing with Unai, without much pressure now that they had had a good rest, I would give them a win, but a cheeky win. So do you go on and captain Aubameyang? Oh man, I don't know. So anyway, those are the fixtures for the week. Game week starts on Saturday, so ensure that you have your teams ready by Saturday morning. That is depending on your timeline or your time zones. So about my team and about who I'm thinking of bringing in my head I have 2 transfers that I want to do. And the reason why I'm thinking about moving on Otamendi is because for some reason the defenders this season have decided that they are not going to give us clean sheets. And I've had it. I don't want to stay every day because when you have Otamendi in your team, you have to play him every week. When you have a 5.5 player, you cannot afford to keep him in your bench. Compare that to a 4.5, 4.4, 4.1 defender. You can easily juggle him depending with the team they are playing against. And I don't want to be left in that quagmire. And that's why I think, even after bringing him in 3 weeks ago, that I should ditch him and maybe consider a premium defender when Liverpool fixture swings. So Otamendi will be on the chopping board, and I was thinking of going for Rico from Bournemouth, but then I wanted to be differential a bit. So I'm thinking of going for Chambers. He's poorly owned, and I think he has played in the last 3 games after coming from injury. And although his playing time might be limited, but I feel like in my bench, if he doesn't play, I have enough people to come in and replace him, the likes of Peters, the likes of Landstram, or even Kelly. And you realize that even when he plays, even when Arsenal do not keep a clean sheet, he's giving assists here and there. And I think he's a cheeky player to own, quite cheap. But maybe after Tierney maybe gets his foot on the ground, one might be thinking of changing Chambers. But in the time being, I'm going to go with Chambers. Again, I said, to me, the Pookie party is gone. It's done. Whether he scores this week or not, time for him to move out of my team. I appreciate that I was able to move out Barnes, and now it's Pookie's time. And the reason why I'm moving Pookie to Wilson is because technically, even if Pookie party doesn't end, Callum Wilson has the ability of equaling or even beating the points that Pookie is going to score. So to me, it's a win-win situation, and that's why I'm not that much concerned about losing him or him coming back to punish me. So anyway, my two transfers will be Chambers and Wilson. That will be a -4. I'm expecting a number of -4s because I can see after the international break, 1 or 2 players are out, and people might be tempted to take those hits. So how will my team look like after the 2 transfers? There you go. And I love that team. I'm hoping Peters will be back after denying me the clean sheet last week and maybe repaying my hit. But I'm looking at that team, and my only concern is whether to play Landstram or Chambers. But other than that, my whole team looks great. Anyway, you be the judge. Look at it. Tell me where you think that I'm going amiss. Many maybe might argue that my defense is too weak, but having a strong defense does not mean you owning premium defenders. It means you owning players that will bring in points. That team there has the capability of giving me about 50 and above points after removing the negative. So to me, that will be 54. And if I get that, considering how the season has been, then to me, that will be a plus. In terms of captaincy, again, I said I have 3 candidates. Actually, I have 4, because looking at how Manchester United play, I wouldn't be surprised to see Mane scoring over 8 points in this game week. So I have Mane, Sterling, Abraham, Aubameyang, or Callum Wilson. Out of the 5, to me, any will make the captaincy. And as it stands right now, I'm going with Wilson. Abraham is tempting. Aubameyang is not tempting me at all. So it is between Callum Wilson, Sterling, and Mane. And I don't think I'll be moving away from Wilson, because to me it's a differential, and it's early season, and the way teams are performing, it's a win-win situation. If he scoops in good points, then it leapfrogs me way up into the standings. If he doesn't perform, I have enough team to cover him, or enough players to distribute those points and make up maybe what I'll have lost. So to me, I find myself going with that, and that will be the team that I'll be gunning for. Keep commenting. Tell me about your team, and tell me what you think you are doing better, so that I can also look into it and see whether I can implement the same. So thank you for joining me. I hope I've not taken much of your time. I really wanted to keep this under 20 minutes. And we keep growing. So thank you so much. Have a lovely, lovely weekend ahead. Thank God the FPL is back. Let the stress come back, as if we needed more stress in our lives. So thank you so much. It has been a pleasure sharing this with you, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.